Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Techies. I'm D. Lee Beard, and today is a very special day. I'm actually shooting on Martin Luther King Day, and so I just wanted to point out that holiday is here, and even though I'm working, I'm not disrespecting him in any way. In fact, I want to point out to you martinlutherkingonline.net, and that's mlkonline.net, as you see right up there. And on this site, there's a lot of information that you can get. There's pictures that you can get over here, and there's also video. If you click on video, it'll have lists here of, like, say, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. His last speech, he says, "I've been on the mountaintop and I may not get there with you." That speech, you can click on it, and it has the footage of it that you can actually play. And I'll play just a second of it here.
We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
There we go. So you have a piece of the video there. You can down here, you have the full text of that speech. So it's really a great way to look back at what he stood for and the difference that he made. And that's one of the reasons why he's respected on this day in this country. And if you don't know who Martin Luther King is because you're one of our Chinese viewers or UK or whatever, this might be a really great way for you to learn a little bit about who this American hero and patriot is, Martin Luther King. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about another great man is Steve Jobs. You certainly heard in the news about Steve Jobs' illness is a little more severe than what he had thought. By the way, I'm recording this in January of 2009. And so anyway, he's going to be taking a leave of absence from Apple, hoping to be back in June. So certainly our thoughts are with him and for him to do better. His birthday is in February. It's going to be his 54th birthday, I believe. And so, Steve, we hope that it's a good birthday and you deserve a break from Apple. You've really worked hard, nonstop, for over a decade since you came back to save Apple. So my view on this issue, some people have asked me about that, is I think Apple will go on. There's a lot of great people. Steve Jobs is the one person who can kind of cut away the chaff and say, here's the cream of the crop that we really want to deal with. But the people that are innovating, the ideas, a lot of that are the other people that work at Apple. And so I'm very confident that Apple's going to do great in spite of Steve's taking a break off. And even if Steve turns out he wants to go ahead and retire like Bill Gates did, I think Apple's still going to be strong because they're still doing innovative products. And one of the things that makes Apple products really great is they manage the operating system and the hardware and a lot of the software that runs on them. And that's one of the things that makes it so easy to manage for them to provide technical support. Customer support, customer service is rated the highest among any of the PC manufacturers, and that's partly because they make everything. They can really control things. Whereas you have something like a Dell computer, and then you have Windows software. Well, Windows is making software for Dell, for HP, for Acer, for Lenovo. There's a whole bunch of them, different hardware components, different graphics card. It makes it really hard to try to manage, especially when you try to upgrade a new operating system and you're trying to tie in for legacy hardware. So that may still be putting into brand new computers. So anyway, we certainly wish you well, Steve, and although I'm sure he's not watching this video, but I just want to give you my thoughts on Steve Jobs and his illness. But I do have quite a few questions to answer for you today, some viewer questions. This first one is from Mal, who's from Canada, Winnipeg, Canada. And he says, I recently purchased a 500 gigabyte Seagate free agent USB external hard drive. I own an iMac G5 OS 10.4 Tiger, a 160 gigabyte hard drive. My question is, can I do a complete backup by dragging the hard drive icon on my desktop to the external hard drive and then update the backup by replacing the hard drive on the Seagate with the desktop hard drive? Well, not exactly, and I'll explain it to you. I have a hard drive right here. It's an external one. It's FireWire. It doesn't matter if it's FireWire or USB. It's going to pop up here on my desktop. So there it is. It's on my hard drive. And this is an Otherworld computing hard drive. I really recommend the brand. They're very rugged. The case is great. It's really a good way to go. But on there, what he's saying is, I have this hard drive. Can I take my hard drive, my main hard drive from my computer, and drag it onto here to back everything up? And normally you can copy files and you can drag them on there, but if you copy the whole hard drive, in a way, yes, it will back up all of your files, but there are some files that are hidden that it won't quite boot up. It won't be bootable is the thing. So it's not going to be what we call a blessed hard drive. In order to do that, you really need to copy everything, literally image the actual hard drive, and then you can back up that image onto there. And Mike Bombich makes some software that does that. There's another one as well. It slips my mind at the moment. But you can actually back up your entire hard drive that way. But the problem with doing that, backing up the whole hard drive, is that can take a long time. I mean, this hard drive, which we don't even have that much stuff on it. Let me actually go to the get info. How much space are we taking up? So we're talking about almost 40 gigabytes on the disk that's used up. That can take a long time to back up to another hard drive, and that may not be the best way to go. One of the easier ways for you to go is if you do have a Mac, and you said you had 10.4, a lot of hard drives will come with backup software called like Retrospect, and that's a way for you to back up files. You can just back up certain folders that you want, say your library folder, your preferences folders, things like that have your settings, bookmarks, things like that. But probably backing up the whole thing does not exactly back up everything on your hard drive to where this would be bootable. You would actually need to use a different piece of software to be able to do that. But I would recommend doing that. If you have a newer Mac, if you do upgrade to 10.5, there's a neat little program in here called Time Machine, and it's not configured. You can say Open Time Machine Preferences, and you can actually turn that on, and you can choose this hard drive to be the backup disk, and then you can choose what files you want to do. Now right now it's off, but you can choose for it to be on. And when you do turn that on, that's free. It'll automatically back up your files to this hard drive whenever you plug it in. Now you can also have it automatically configured if you plug in the hard drive to, say, one of the new Apple Airport base stations. It's Airport Express, I think. Check on there, the one that works with Time Machine. There's actually a Time Machine hard drive too that you can buy. But you can use another hard drive. I believe you can get that to work with the wireless Apple Airport. Check the specs on that. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know for sure you can do it with a hard drive because right now it's giving me the option to do that. So that would be a way for you to back up your hard drive and back up just those files you want, and it'll constantly do them over and over again, and it'll save incremental backups. So you can back up to, say, the version I did day before yesterday or the version that I saved yesterday, depending on which one I want to go back to. So that can be kind of a nice little way to go. Backing up, this raises a good question. I really appreciate you asking this because a lot of people are not backing up their files. It's not a matter of if your hard drive's going to fail, it's a matter of when your hard drive's going to fail. Data will fail. I've seen flash drives die. I've seen floppy disks die, obviously, and they're dead in history now. It's gone with the way of the dinosaurs. Zips, I've seen CDs, DVDs, I've seen hard drives fail, I've seen online networks fail. I've heard people talk about Google Docs. Well, Google Docs, sometimes they lose files too, and so that's something for you to think about. Never trust anything that's really important to you to just one file storage location or one medium. I don't even like to go with all hard drives. I prefer to have a mix of different media to back things up on, just in case hard drives are exposed to electromagnetic interference, such as near a big stereo speaker. They potentially could erase the hard drive and you would lose data. So it's, you can't do that with a DVD. But I wouldn't want to rely on everything on a DVD because if the discs start falling apart because I bought a brand that was really cheapo, then I lose all my data. So I like to have multiple ways to back files up. I do like hard drives is the best way, but a good backup is also to have one on DVD. Okay, there's more than you wanted to know on backups, okay? Let's go on to the next question.